Well, speaking of craziness, speaking of shenanigans, we have Elon Musk confronts Representative Adam Schiff from my home state. For the love of God, we are producing terrible politicians about his efforts to pressure Twitter to silence critics and journalists. If you haven't already, folks, support us by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below and just double check to make sure that bell notification does actually say all notifications. YouTube does some shady stuff here, folks, so they might have changed it on you without you knowing. Double checks that right now. Make sure it actually says all notifications. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, the latest installment of Elon Musk's Twitter files, the saga continues, folks. The ousting, the exposing of what's been going on for, I don't know, heck, 10 plus years is finally revealed. And this is the only stuff we know about. This is the only stuff Elon Musk has his hands on. Who knows what was deleted and actually shredded or burned like they would do in the old days, right? Basically, they just probably deleted a lot of this stuff. Well, Twitter files revealed some of the lengths Democrats have gone to collude with social media companies, silence critics, and stifle dissent. We've done about 4 or 5 of these Twitter files already. This stuff is wild, you guys. By the way, there's a lot of media outlets that aren't even covering this whatsoever. It's amazing to me how corrupt these people are and how deep this stuff goes into our federal government. The latest batch of revelations contained an email wherein California Democrat Representative Adam Schiff's office demanded that Twitter suspend journalist Paul Sperry's account, remove any and all content unfavorable to Schiff's aide, Sean Misko, and others, and altogether regulate conversations online about persons involved in both the impeachment inquiry and 2020 presidential election. Isn't it amazing, you guys, that in 2016 it was all about the Russians meddling in our elections, doing this or that, when for all we know, it was just a Democrat party this entire time, working with big tech, working with the FBI and the DOJ, whoever it may be, CIA, and all these psyops and stuff going on the entire time. Isn't that just amazing how they push that? And our friends as well hopped on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all these areas. And we're going, oh, you guys are crazy. It was the Russians. That's the only reason Trump got in. You know, he's in bed with the Russians, his business deals, and all these other things. It's so amazing that if you just flip the Trump narrative and attach it to Biden, the whole Biden narrative of what the Trump narrative was is way more likely than actually the Trump narrative, what's like at all. If you looked at the number of basically interactions that Ben Shapiro on the Daily Wire got, was more influential than any sort of Russian involvement meddling in our 2016 election, like tenfold. So the whole thing is crazy, but it's amazing here that all this comes out and then they're going to say that it was like the freest and fairest election ever. But yet you have literally a sitting person, a sitting representative that was meddling in the 2020 presidential election, suppressing the speech of Americans. And the Democrats are silent on this. The vast majority of leftist progressive outlets are freaking silent on this. Your friends that are Democrats are silent on this. When we had to hear them for 6 years now complaining about Trump, they still complain about Trump. Nothing. They're so crickets. They're just echoing. It's, you guys, it floor, and they don't see it. I think that's the most amazing thing to me. You bring this up to them and be like, hey man, where you at on all this stuff? Like, why have you not been posting? You were posting for 4 years, complaining like a little baby about Trump, about doing this and that. But when the same things apply to now your party, you're silent. You're not posting anything. Go, what do you mean? That's not the Democrat Party. Schiff is the Democrat Party, man. People are idiots, specifically Democrats. Mostly progressive left. There's some great Democrats. I have a lot of Democrat friends. They're not idiots as much. I mean, I still think they should vote red, but hey, you know, we all have our biases. Musk tweeted to Schiff Tuesday evening, hey, Representative Adam Schiff, what is this? You love Musk, man. I mean, I hate the guy sometimes and I love the guy sometimes. I don't like when he suppresses people's speech, even if I don't agree with it. Like, for example, Alex Jones isn't allowed to still be on Twitter because of what Alex Jones said about the Sandy Hook victims, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with what he said about that. It was ridiculous. It was wrong, but I still think he has a right to free speech, and he's not back on Twitter. So there's you can't say you're for free speech and then not let somebody like Alex Jones back on. Well, investigative journalist Matt Taibbi suggested Schiff's apparent efforts to suppress free speech were an example of the astonishing variety of requests from officials asking for individuals they didn't like to be banned. But these are the same people that are supposed to be upholding the Constitution, folks. These are the same people that your friends of the Democrat Party are voting for all the time. I don't see Trump looking to suppress the speech of others. I don't see a lot of conservatives or Republicans, especially actual representatives, going out and going, you need to silence and censor this person. We've always said as Republicans and conservatives, say whatever you want. We'll be out there going against you, but say whatever you want. I will stand up for your right to freedom of speech, but I'll tell you what, the Democrats aren't going to do the same thing for you, folks. But there's still people in the midterms that voted a hell of a lot of Democrats in still. Tabibi has aided Musk in parsing damning internal evidence of apparent status collusion and censorship to which the previous Twitter regime was party. Tabibi recently outlined how the FBI had engaged in constant and pervasive communications with the social media platform, flagging accounts for suspension and speech for censorship. And you know what the FBI comes out and basically says in a nutshell, if I were to paraphrase it? Oh, we were just consulting. Yeah, we were just giving them kind of pointers on what they should do. If the FBI came knocking on your door and gave you pointers, you think you kind of would follow along a little bit? Because it's kind of intimidating when the FBI shows up at your front door, kind of tells you or consults you to do something. You know what I mean? Kind of rephrase that differently. It should be, oh, I'm consulting you. I'm kind of giving you some advice. No. The FBI doesn't just give you advice. They tell you what to do at the end of the day. You bet your butt. If the IRS showed up at your door and was like, I advise you to probably do this, you think you'd probably do it? You know how many phone calls I get a year from just my friends who get a notice from the IRS? It's absolutely nothing, but they're losing their crap because it has the IRS logo at the top of it. A lot. So they're giving us this whole spiel like, well, the FBI is just consulting you. We're just giving a little points of emphasis on who we think you should suspend, meaning suspend them. In another thread, he detailed how Twitter had let the intelligence community in, caving to moderation pressure amid claims of Russian disinformation circulating on the platform. There you have it, folks. Pushing the whole Russian disinformation, misinformation. I mean, you literally still have Karine Jean-Pierre on the podium every day saying, oh, we want to be careful of the smugglers and the misinformation that we're pushing out there, even though she's the least clearest person to ever stand on that podium and say that she's being clear every single day. It's literally head spinning. The latest thread revealed that by 2020, Twitter was inundated with requests and demands from elements of the government to censor various personalities and narratives. I am so curious, you guys, to see how deep this literally goes. I mean, if you want to look at the deep state, read Jason Chaffetz's book called The Deep State. The guy that literally was the head of the basically the intelligence community in Congress to oversight, part of the oversight committee, is the chairman. And my God, man, it'll scare you to death, because this guy had like all access to everything, and he would go over like incognito to different countries, and you'd have suits show up from the United States. He's literally dumbfounded how they knew that he was there. They're stopping him from actually talking to people. It's a wild book. Again, it's Jason Chaffetz. I believe he was the congressman for an area in Utah. He was buddies with Trey Gowdy, the two guys I really trusted in Congress that weren't there anymore. They left because it was a swamp. Literally, they said it was dark. Then nobody wanted to do anything, so they left. But by God, man, I miss that man. But again, Jason Chaffetz, The Deep State. It says here, Tabibi noted that requests did in fact arrive and were escalated from all over, from Treasury, the NSA, virtually every state, the HHS, from the FBI and DHS, and more. Democrat operatives, long keen on pressuring. I thought it wasn't pressing. That's so weird. I was told the FBI, again, was just consulting, just giving advice. But it says here pressuring, rather. Twitter to silence their critics and foes were part of this escalation. In a partially redacted email sent November 2020, Schiff's office issued the following demands. You guys ready for this? Remove any and all content. These are all in quotes I'm about to read you. Remove any and all content about Mr. Misko and other committee staff from its service, include quotes, retweets, and reactions to that content. Suspend the many accounts, including Greg Rubini and Paul Sperry. Suppress any and all search results about redacted and other committee staff. Stop the spread of future misinformation on Twitter about redacted and other committee staff who are not public figures and who are not central actors in impeachment inquiry or the 2020 presidential election. And label and reduce the visibility of any content about redacted that Twitter does not remove for the reasons cited above. Upholding the Constitution of free speech, huh? The first thing the founders wrote down, and that man wants to sit there and remove your right. But these are the same people that we're supposed to trust on pushing gun legislation. These are the same people I've been saying have been chiseling away at your rights for decades, and the Democrats love it. And there's Republicans that are part of this as well. There's Republicans that have been chiseling away at our rights as well. These politicians are sick. The swamp needs to be drained. I keep saying it. Matt Gaetz keeps saying it. Republicans need to get their you-know-what together and start doing it. I hate all this talk from Trump as well. We're going to drain the swamp. You didn't do anything in 4 years, Trump, to drain the damn swamp. We got a lot of rhinos in there that need to be gone. A lot of them. You guys know that as well. There's a lot of I love obviously I'm a registered Republican. I'm a conservative. There's a lot of people that need to be ousted, and for some godly reason, we're idiots too, and we keep voting these people back. They need to be gone. We need to get some better people in there, man. I'm telling you, this midterm election really should have wakened a lot of us up into getting somebody out there that's actually good. The company responded to Schiff's office, indicating that Twitter could not or would look like into suspending the accounts per didn't normally suppress research and search results in manner requested in, although QAnon content had been de-amplified and would not do. Basically, in a nutshell, it was, I know it sounded like I was glitching in and out. I wasn't. That's just the way it was worded. It's kind of off. They're kind of listing some certain things. Basically, in a nutshell, Twitter was like, you're crazy, man. We ain't going to do that. Like, when Twitter, like the ultimate suppressor and dethrottling of conservatives, Republicans, isn't willing to do what you're going to do, you know you're a little outrageous. Paul Sperry is a senior staff writer for Real Clear Investigations and has been also penned pieces for the New York Post, The Federalist, and other publications. While Schiff's personal reasons for wanting to silence his well-established conservative writer may have basically varied, the Post suggests that Sperry's 2020 article, January 2020 to be specific, in Real Clear Investigations concerning the alleged whistleblower behind former President Donald Trump's first impeachment may have been the final straw. In the article, Sperry discusses how a certain CIA analyst whose name was recently linked in a tweet about the president and mentioned by lawmakers as anonymous whistleblower who touched off Trump's impeachment had allegedly been overheard discussing how to remove the newly elected president from office with Sean Misko, a holdover staffer from the Obama administration. According to Sperry, someone in the White House who had reportedly overheard the conversation said just days after he was sworn in, we're already talking about trying to get rid of him. So blowing all of this stuff, you got these Democrats at high levels working with Twitter to try and suppress the speech of others. And we all got the freaking receipts of it. And the media's silent. The Democrats are silent. Your friends that are Democrats are silent. The leftist friends that we have are silent. It's amazing. And then at the same time, those same friends that we have, Democrats or progressive left, are like, we're for free speech. We love free speech. Oh, we love it. Where are you at on this? The same people that say that it's basically wrong to be silent on an issue, and if you don't talk about it, you're just enabling it, are also quiet on the same issue. They're using that exact same thing about something else towards this issue. Isn't it amazing how they're just quiet on here? But when you're quiet about something, all of a sudden you're the bad guy. When you're quiet, when you're not speaking up about it when you should be, or whatever it may be, it's just astonishing to me. That I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.